The day that Vladimir Putin announced the invasion of Ukraine, there was just shock in Moscow. There were obviously some people who supported it, but I feel like the sense at that point was a lot of people felt, this is not my war. But since then, that's changed. This is what Russians think of Putin's war. When state television started kicking into gear, they very much presented this as almost like a humanitarian mission, fighting fascists. It's presented as a conflict as well between Russia and the West. I've lived in Russia for 5 years, I speak Russian, I spent a lot of my career there, and I know how powerful state media is, particularly television. We travelled to this village called Komory. It's about 8 hours from Moscow, down dirt roads lined with war memorials to soldiers who died in this part of Russia fighting the Nazis. Many of those soldiers still lie in the bogs and the marsh where they fell. 80 years later, their bodies are still there. When the snow melts and the ground thaws, their bodies are literally spit out of the earth, a land soaked in the blood of war. And it is from this land, the place where grandfathers fought fascism, that one family sent their son to fight the war in Ukraine. We met this family at their son's graveside, and his mother was crying, and she told me,
"Our daughter told us we should be very proud of our Serezhka because he was a hero, a defender of our country and fatherland."
His aunt handed me this dove and said, "We are peaceful people." The cutout dove had the Z sign emblazoned on it, which is now synonymous with the Russian war in Ukraine. It's literally emblazoned with a symbol of war on it. They are prepared to give their children to this war because they believe in it. People have gone from shock to acceptance to support in quite a short amount of time, really. I was talking to a friend who said that she was on Tinder, and she said it's really scary now how all these young men that she'd been messaging were suddenly Russian patriots. Russians are really rallying round the flag at the moment. The ideas of fighting fascism and socking it to the West are really powerful. We would assume that, oh my gosh, wouldn't you go out into the street? Wouldn't you protest? This war is terrible. You can't get the things that you want anymore. And that's not how Russians think. And I think it's really important to understand the space in which they're living and the information that they've got. They've recently introduced a law which threatens anyone spreading fake news. People are really genuinely risking their incomes, their jobs, their futures if they go and protest, and people regularly get detained. It's a very intimidating sight, and the message is stay away. It's quite sad in a way to see how ordinary people feel that they don't have the ability to speak up and to talk in necessarily the way that they would want to.